Hello everyone. Happy New Year to you and your families. I hope 2010 is a prosperous new year with good health and happiness for all. As we head into 2010, I would like to look at a couple very important graphs that pretty unimaginable, but they are what they are, and it's important to know what they are, and we can see what's happening and how our elected officials are not really representing us, heading us down the path that they're heading us down with these graphs. I hate to be sort of pessimistic in my videos, but I can't really help it. When you look at these graphs, you'll understand I don't really consider myself a pessimist, but it's hard to be optimistic. I'd say I'm more a realist, because you got to look at this stuff. This is real information. This is what's being done to this country. And I love my country. My father was in the military. I have a brother and a grandfather, both veterans of foreign wars. As a matter of fact, my brother's getting ready to go back to Iraq. And I feel that these videos is my little part to help anyone willing to listen learn about what's going on, what's happening to this country. Not fighting for the country like my brother is, but maybe I can help this way, because I study this stuff, and I hope maybe this can help someone out. So we'll look at the first graph. Everybody, here's the first graph. I apologize for the quality. I thought that you would have been able to read this graph when I zoomed in, but obviously you can't. But anyhow, it starts at 1940 and it goes all the way to 2010. Now this is the national debt, and right here from 40 to 45 you can see World War II, and the national debt increased to about $300 billion. It goes all the way up to 14 trillion, and this was done up to 2007. I updated it myself with these last three lines. So this shows us that in 1980 we were right around 900 billion, just shy of $1 trillion national debt. Took us 40 years to accumulate $1 trillion in national debt. Now we move on over to 2007, and we're at 9 trillion. 2008, get to 10.5, 12.3 at the end of this year, and we're projected at 14.4 by the end of 2010. So, the graph pretty much speaks for itself. This is incredible. Like I said, 40 years to get to $1 trillion, and now we're just jumping $1.5 trillion every year. We're jumping over $5 trillion in 3 years. Now it took 58 years to get to $5.5 trillion. So that's a lot of progress for all those progressives out there. Okay, a big chunk of the recent rise over here in the last year or two was an $870 billion stimulus program that we passed. Now, if we look at it as this had shovel-ready jobs. So, if we look at it from a personal standpoint, if you or I were seriously in debt and broke and had no job, what better way to stimulate our financial situation than remodeling our kitchen? I mean, is that absurd or what? In 2009, the interest payment on this debt was $400 billion. And remember that the interest rate's gone all the way down from 16% all the way down to, in 1980, all the way down to 0.04% now. Now, if rates just get back to 5%, we're talking 1.25 trillion in interest on this debt. And that's just talking about $12 trillion in debt. I mean, it'll be much higher by the time we get to 5% interest. Okay, the second graph I wanted to show you is the St. Louis adjusted monetary base. This is any physical money held either by the public or the Federal Reserve in the form of reserves. So it doesn't account for the checking account balances and saving account balances, just all the physical money. Now what's interesting here is this is 1920. We had $5 billion in circulation. And then we move forward 19 years and we double it up to 10 billion. And then we keep going along. We get up to 200 billion, 1984. And 1994 we see $400 billion. 10 years later, 800 billion. And then it just skyrockets. It skyrockets all the way up to 2.1 trillion. So if you look at this monetary base, I wrote a bunch of interesting points here. You can't see them, but President Nixon closed the gold window here, and then you can see how the money just starts multiplying after that. One interesting note is the U.S. had about 3.5 billion ounces of silver in 1960, and at a $12 an ounce price, every dollar could have been backed by an ounce of silver here. Now, the U.S. has less than 20 million ounces of silver now, so a price of $100,000 an ounce would be needed to back every dollar. So you can see what's happened from 1960 up to 2009. One other interesting note is the value of gold in 1980 of the country's gold passed the money supply, and we could have gone back on this gold standard at this point. Well, doesn't look like that's possible anymore, but I mean, this should be shocking to anyone seeing this video. This is the amount of dollars that have been printed. Now remember, this is inflation. This is inflation. Inflation is not price increases. This is inflation. It's the increase in the money supply, and we're going to be feeling this. You can be assured of that. So what do we do with the national debt like this and a monetary base like this? Well, we need our leaders to be courageous and to drastically decrease spending, at the same time raising interest rates. That's what needs to happen. That'll support the dollar, give strength to the dollar, and you know, production comes from savings, not from borrowing, which is this economy's based on. You know, so we need to have them do the right thing. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to be horrific what's going to happen if they do what they need to do. But if they don't do what they need to do, what's the end result? We're either going to default or we got to print money. I mean, there's nothing else to do. And I don't think they're going to let us default on our debt. So they're just going to keep raising the debt ceiling, and they're going to keep printing money, monetizing the debt. That's what's going to happen. And that's going to cause hyperinflation. You know, silver and gold, that's your way to hedge against the inflation. Hopefully they don't make it illegal to own that, because then what are we going to do? They make it illegal to own real money and force us to use paper money. Yeah, that'll be real great. So there it is. I mean, it's thought it would be important to look at this stuff, and just for the heck of it, I thought I'd throw out a few predictions for 2010, just for fun. I'm looking for silver to reach $33 an ounce this year sometime, and gold to reach about $1,700 an ounce. And unfortunately, I think unemployment's going to head up near 12%. You know, the stimulus package not working. I don't see how putting some people to work on a bridge is going to help the economy. Yeah, temporarily, but then when the big bridge is done being built, they're out of work again. I mean, why don't they give some money to small business instead of this big stimulus package, and give the money to the small business, and the small business can buy some machinery and put some guy to work for a long time, not just temporarily, and it will actually be producing something. So anyway, that's it for now. See y'all later.